Don't you think this is starting to wear on me? You've been raining down like hell. I'm weak. I have tried to give you my soul, but you can't love something you own. It's too late to repair what we made. What can I do? Time flashed by and I woke up on the other side of the
G'day everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Anna and this is You Got Me in Stitches. I'll start off with telling you guys what I am wearing. Obviously clothes, and the clothes that I am wearing, the pants are just regular black thrifted pants. I'll start off with telling you guys what I am wearing. Obviously clothes, and the clothes that I am wearing, the pants are just regular black thrifted pants, and the top that I am wearing is the square top by Friday Pidden Company, and it is in this 100% cotton fabric, and it has these little sewing themes on it. I'll insert a still for you guys so that you can see the full outfit. And being a Saturday today, I just wanted something comfortable to wear. Righto guys, I have actually made makes. Yes, that's right, I have sewn some makes. I have completed some makes. The first pin that I am going to tell about is K6434, and it's this one here. I made kind of a size 12, bearing in mind you have to make account for a little bit of ease that this pattern has. This time I wanted to change up the neckline, and instead of just having a round neckline, I wanted to swap it out for a square neckline. So what I will do, I insert some steels. On this top I actually added a little bit of length. This was due to where the pattern placement on the embroidery would fall, and I didn't want the embroidery too high up. So this is it here. So we start off with the delicate embroidery, which goes into the full embroidery at the hem. And the good thing with this is I didn't actually need to hem it, so I managed to get out of that one. Had I placed the pattern piece higher, then this embroidery would have come up a lot higher on this top, and I kind of didn't want that. I think otherwise it would be just a little bit, you know, not quite the balance right and a little bit heavy. So just adding length to it and making sure that more of the heavy embroidery was where it should sit along the hemline more. This top has 2 bust darts. It also has 2 sleeves, and at the end of each sleeve it has a little cuff that is gathered. And then I just folded over that little hem there twice and did a regular stitch length. Now let's talk about pattern matching. Okay, on my left side I had pretty much successfully pattern matched, so I'll show you guys that here. It's a little bit off, but not too much. But the right side, yeah, okay guys, it is way off. So what I might do is go back into this and just reconfigure that a little bit. Righto, let's talk about necklines. As I previously said, I wanted to swap it out, the curved neckline, for a square one. Kind of just wanted to play around with this. So this is here. And just lowered it a little bit, not too much, but just enough. I don't like anything too high up on the neck. I always feel a little bit, I don't know, a little bit constrictive there, I guess. And I also had to make a facing. So the facing inside is my self-drafted one, because obviously it doesn't have that in the pattern, and I've obviously reconfigured the whole neckline. And also I didn't really feel like doing bias binding, because I would have had to have minded the corner inside, and yeah, at that particular time I just didn't feel like having to kind of, yeah, turn that around kind of fight with the corner there. And I don't know if it would have come out just as successful with the facing. And I made sure that I stitched the facing down along the shoulder line so it doesn't flap about, and also I serged the inside there. So what I'll do, I'll flip it inside out and then you guys can see the interior. Starting off at the arm side, I have serged all along there, following down to the cuff and the sleeve where they both meet, and then I double folded the hem on the cuff there and did a regular straight stitch. On my self drafted facing there is also serged. You can see both the bust darts, and on the side seams I have sewn French seams on both sides there, and I started the French seams there on the sleeves. Not entirely sure what was in my head as to not follow it through for the cuff meeting the sleeve, but it is what it is. And then this beautiful hem, obviously that did not need to be hemmed. That's so pretty. Then the reverse of the little T, perhaps I should have made the facing there around the arm side just a little bit wider, but it works. And like I said, I have stitched it down so then it won't be flapping around. Alright, second make is New Look 6446. I had made this before, and I have made view C, of course. For you guys that saw my first New Look jumpsuit, you know that I had made a few adjustments and amendments to the pattern. That being the crotch length, I added an inch. This time I added just like 1/4 inch, and I also omitted the band across the front bodice again, so it is all one piece. And I file in between sizes, so I made allowances for that. And also this pattern itself only has about 1/4 inch ease. I used the chambray fabric again, and although the top obviously is loose fitting, I could wear just a little under tee with it, because I felt with the bodice it itself is a little bit more fitted, and therefore with this lighter chambray fabric I had decided to line just the front bodice on this, just for a little bit of peace of mind really. The pattern has front darts and it also has back darts. It also requires a zipper along the back bodice. There are front and back darts also on the front and back pants legs, and also it has pockets, and the pockets are awesome because they are deep. I also hope that I have the balance okay on this pattern, because the emphasis is on the pant legs where the embroidery, I wanted that to be along the hemline, and then obviously as the little floral flowers come up, just to kind of delicately go up the leg. So, and I also pattern matched the inside as well as the outside legs, and both the outside legs matched, not the inner legs. So what I actually did was just shave a little bit off. Now I'm guessing that is so not what to do, because I only had to do it on 2 legs. Now what I mean by that, the 2 back legs. And although you imagine the seam is supposed to obviously be straight, if you do that you would obviously create a bit of a curve. Thankfully the amount of fabric that I actually took out hasn't created that curve, and the line of the edge there actually still falls straight, and obviously being an inside leg, even if it did have a slight out of alignment, I don't think it would notice that well. But I just wanted this embroidery edging to match on both those side seams, inside and the outside. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around and show you the front and all the details, and then I'll put the garment inside out and you can see the interior. Again, it's not my best work. I also forgot to serge one of the seams, so we live and learn. So this pattern has good sized strips to cover those bra straps, and I really like that. So they have gone into the seams there. These are the front bodice darts, and then coming down to the front darts there on the pants, and pattern matching there, not too bad. I think I could have perhaps aligned that just a little bit. I know, I am my worst critic, but it's the perfectionist in me, I guess, or a little bit of OCD. We have the pocket there, and then coming down to, as you can start seeing the embroidery there. I wanted it to start not too high on the leg pants there, just to have it gently easing down the legs, and then the main hem again there with the heavier embroidery. And again, I didn't need to hem the pants, so isn't that awesome? I have just flipped the pants legs to the side seam, so what you're looking at the moment is the outer side seam, and this is my matching here, and I think I did okay, guys. That's one side, and this is the other side there, and turn it around for the inner seams there of the pants. Coming over, so it's not too bad, and because the embroidery is busy, having one just ever so slightly out hopefully won't be too noticeable. Righto, so I have now flipped it inside out, and I used this quite drapey fabric for the front bodice lining, and match the darts up all okay. Following down, you can start to see the pockets, and also I serged. And the only thing I didn't do, look, what a galah, I didn't serge the ends of the pockets. I don't know what was in my brain, but there you go, can't do too much about that. And then there's the inside legs. So I installed a regular white zipper. You can see the back darts there in the bodies. Now, because I did not line the back bodies, I ran bias binding across the raw edge there and installed that the regular way. And this is where all the mess happens. So I hand stitched the ends there. This is really crappy. And then because obviously I didn't line the bodies, the straps obviously are not hidden. So I think I will go back in and line that. And then coming down to the waistline, I don't know what was in my head again. And look, I didn't serge the raw edges there. I don't know. I wasn't even having a bad day. Well, maybe I was. I was just, I mean, I wasn't a frustrated bad day. This garment was good putting together, so I have no idea what was going on. My third and final make is a Michael's pattern, and it's M6891. It's this one here. I made view A, which is the blue one there. Liner for you guys. I made a straight size 12, and since obviously I've made this garment up, I think the bodice area could have quite easily come in at a 10. The skirt length, I actually kept the length of view C, as that's a little bit longer than the view I chose, but a little bit shorter than view D. The bodice has bust darts, and also it has waist darts in the front and the back of it. Now the wonderful Michelle from Sewing Bunny, she and I are actually twinning, and didn't realise until we kind of said to each other that actually we use the same fabric, the same view of the same pattern. How freaky is that? So I'm sure she doesn't mind me saying that. And the fabric is rather fruity, and it's from the So Hayley Jane box, and it is this one here. And really like pineapples to eat, so why not have a pineapple fabric dress? Now I have never sewn this style collar, so if you can see that there, and it has the button down placket as well, and that placket piece, so it's two long pieces that go into the collar on both sides, and then you just have a small collar piece, two pieces for the back, and you have to clip it in, and you have to lever it, and you have to kind of run over the fabric. And considering I had never actually constructed a collar like this, although initially I managed to get the first part of it okay, it was actually putting on that button placket. Obviously you would put the right size together and everything like that, making sure that everything matched up, and kind of anchoring where you cut in to the notch corner, which obviously helps with the points of the collar. I must admit that was a little bit head scratching for a little while, but I persevered, and I'm so glad that I did. And I did think to myself during that, you know what, if I ever see a collar like this in my lifetime, it's going to be too soon. That said, I've actually already cut out another one, view A, and it is in that drape fabric. Do you remember I showed you guys with the hearts? It just kind of had that little bit of vintage vibe, and I think this style dress would work really well. I'm not going to go too much into that, that will be for another video. So yeah, so after just that little head scratching moment, and apparently from what Michelle had said, she kind of investigated a little bit, and I think a few people had a little bit of trouble with that. So I did not make the belt, I omitted that, and I didn't make buttons. So what did I do? Wow, initially I was going to do hook and bars, but ones that come on the, I don't know what you call it, ribbon strip. There was no way was I going to hand stitch each individual hook and bar, but I'm going to keep that for the other dress. So yes, like I said, I've used something else, and yeah, also I use bias binding on the armholes, which is here. I did actually have a lovely yellow to kind of almost match this, but unfortunately I didn't have enough because I wanted to bias bind the hem and also bias bind the placket in its entirety. So you can see the placket there, but on the inside I have bias bound all the way along, and then as you can see there, it has been pressed, it's just the way I'm holding it, there we go. Bias bound the entire hem, and it is in a light grey. So what I will do, I'll flip the camera around and show you both the inside and the outside. Right, let's start with this collar. And I think I got my points not too bad. I guess it could have just been a little bit more point in there, but I think I did okay considering I haven't sewn a collar like this before. Coming down to the arm side, just showed you guys the light grey bias binding there, and the pattern does not call for bias binding. It actually has pattern pieces for a facing, and no, I just did not want to do that. Coming down to the bust dart there and the waist dart. Now, there we go guys, this is what I decided to do. So I recently purchased the snips and the tool that goes with these snips, and I wanted to swap out buttons for snips. I just didn't want to do buttons, buttonholes, things like that, and I also wanted to do something a little bit different with this dress. I actually think they work really well. I don't know what you guys think, let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm really pleased. First installation and no mess ups, so that's pretty good going as well. So they follow all the way down the placket, and then I have left a little bit of a split there in the front, and as we're down there, I might as well show you the bias binding again. So all the way around the circumference of the circle skirt there is bias binding. Just going to flip it around to the back. So I think I got that collar pretty crisp. Obviously I used inner facing in there, and I used a mid-weight. Coming down here you can see the darts there at the back. Now the strange thing about this was that is the back bodice. It is one single bodice. It is cut on the fold, and this, what I found really strange is the skirt piece at the back. They said to cut two. Now why? Because there's no back closures, and I was not going to have a bodice that was clean like this, and then can you imagine coming down and then having a back seam line all the way down the skirt? No. So I omitted the seam allowance and then placed it on the fold, and then just cut it as one piece. I don't know, very strange. Unless you know the answer to that, guys, I have no idea. It also has pockets, and they are really deep pockets, so that's a good thing as well. I have stood the collar up so then you guys can get a better impression, and yeah, pleased with it. Following that all the way down, you can see the bottom placket, and this is one long pattern piece, and then you would just cut two. There's the last of the snip, and then I left a little split there. You can see the pockets there. And stupidly, I don't know what was in my mind again. I don't know why I missed it out, but I forgot to serge my pockets. Silly woman, silly woman. But everywhere else I have serged, and yes, I know you're probably screaming at me. I should have swapped out my black thread, well actually it's navy blue, for my white thread, but I intended to actually do French seams, and then I realised how semi-complicated this make might be, and I didn't want added pressure to myself, so I thought, no, you know what, I'm just going to serge this. So that is what I did. You can see the darts more clearly. That's the waist ones, and here's the bust darts, and then the sidebar spiding there. Okay, so during filming, the mailman turned up, and he turned up with some happy mail. That's right, guys, just a little bit of fabric, so not too much, promise, just true. Okay, righto guys, the wonderful Andrea, who also has a YouTube channel, Beyond the Pink Door, has started selling fabrics. Yippee! Congratulations, Andrea. Really happy. I think you're going to get thousands of customers. So this is her little card, and on the reverse just a little thank you, and then just on the invoice that she had put thank you very much and for my support and things like that. I couldn't show you that because obviously it has all my details on it. Righto, let's start with the first one, which is a viscose, and it is these little sailing boats, or yachts if you prefer. It is so super soft and buttery and really drapey. So I'm thinking just maybe like a little cami top maybe, or a little tee that's loose and flowy. The I picked me up 1 yard, and the name of the fabric is called Sail Away, for obvious reasons. This next one is called Monkeying Around, and it is in a stretch carton, and I picked me up 2 yards, and it's here, and it's absolutely stunning. Also has jaguars, and it is a very light grey colourway on the background with floral design. Yeah, it's pretty much coming up true to colour. I wanted to pick me up some Kim snips and also have the tool to accompany it, which is here. And here are the Kim snips. And it's just one of those things, isn't it, when you start doing something, because I've used snips before, but I've used the heavy duty like metal ones and also the smaller metal ones, but what I found with those ones, they just keep coming apart out of the fabric, because I made the shirts with Teenage Earthling and I used some middle snips on there, and they just kind of did pull away. And no, it wasn't Teenage Earthling being wild at pulling them off, because they even came away when I tested them. So I thought I'd try me out the plastic ones, and it's like anything, isn't it? No, I am going to end up snapping everything. They are so much fun. So if you have these tools and snips, let me know how you get on with them. I just think they're amazing, really creative, whole bunch of fun, and you can do so much with them. And so far they are really strong, so definitely a thumbs up for these. I also picked me up 2 patterns, and I have been eyeing up this coat for quite some time now, and it is the princess coat, and that's Gadget, who has her charm pattern company, and it's this one. I just think it's absolutely stunning. Just has a little bit of regal elegance, vintage vibe, bit of a mix of everything, and yeah, excited to sew these one up, but it's definitely going to be an adventure for me. I don't know, I guess it is a little bit challenging. It would be my first venture into wool fabrics, especially chunky heavy wool, Melton wool it suggests, heavyweight wool, medium weight, also it's tweed. I've worked with tweed, so righto. Next pattern. This pattern company is Liesl & Co, and it is a shirt for teenage earthlings. So just a regular men's shirt. There's the liner. And for the moment I would actually just make this up as a short sleeve, so it's like a regular shirt as opposed to a dress shirt. If I was going to then do the dress shirt, then I would then attempt to do the long sleeves with the cuff placket there. Even just suggesting that to myself now is giving me a bit of the heebie-jeebies. I've never attempted to sew a shirt cuff placket yet, so they are my two patterns. Let me know if you have these patterns, and if you have you already sewn either of them, and how did you get on? Okay guys, so all there is for me to say is if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you have not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and then that way you won't miss out on all my videos. Have a wonderful week and catch up with you next week. Take care guys. And where, thank you, you're really not helping. You are in my bed books. I'm out raining. Lucky me. Windy. In this pattern I made a striped. Oh, look at this little guy. If I show you a little grasshopper there. Just hopped onto me. And I'm getting dripped on because it rained in the night as well.